What's up guys, NinjaNick333. We are here with round 7 of the Pokemon Trading Card Game International Championships. Looks like we've got a Mew VMAX on the right versus a Giratina on the left. So we will be getting into this in just a second. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe because it feeds that YouTube algorithm. It's a hungry boy. Don't let it go hungry. And yeah, what is that started? Is that that's the alt art Squovet. So this is likely playing Bibarel in order to draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. You also play the Squovet because it allows you to shuffle your hand, put it on the bottom of the deck, and then draw 1 card. So if you have a not too good hand, you can use the Squovet to get rid of it, and then the Bibarel to draw it. It's a little bit much to have to set up, in my opinion, but I mean, if you can get it set up, if you can afford that bench space to have it, it's really good. That's, of course, one less space you can have an ability or other tech Pokemon, but Arceus seems to do just fine sometimes without it. We do see the Nest Ball getting the Arceus V, as well as the Luminion is going to be benched to grab the Professor's Research out of the deck for next turn. You can't play that this turn because it is your first turn going first. And just a pass over to the Mew player, surprisingly playing that newer art of the Mew V. I believe that came in a box or something. I rarely see people play that because everybody who plays Mew or has ever planned on playing Mew has the old ones. There was a V battle deck that was printed that had all of the old Mews in it as well. So it's just kind of odd to see that they like reprinted a card that they've reprinted into the ground already. Fusion Strike packs were worthless because if you guys saw on Twitter recently, it's come out that back in 2021 or whatever, when Fusion Strike was released or being printed at least, one of the factory workers just stole pretty much all the alt arts out of the set, and that's why the hit rates were so bad. So everybody was basically forced to use the regular arts of Mew. So whenever you see these ones, it's just like, it throws me off. I'm like, is that a different card? But we see the Battle VIP Pass is setting up here, and we are going to go right in with the Judge. So we got 4 Pokemon in play, so we are going to be able to draw until we have 4 cards in our hand with each Genesect Fusion Strike system at the moment. It draws a card for each Fusion Strike Pokemon you have in play, or fills your hand up to that at least. So if you have 6 Fusion Strike Pokemon, you can draw until you have 6 cards in hand. That is the way that the Mew deck functions. It looks like it will be playing the just regular quad double turbo energy version. So we are going to actually be playing Oricorio. A lot of these decks for Mew have actually cut Oricorio recently. I don't think the damage matters too much. It does matter quite a bit in the Arceus matchup because if Arceus is able to go V-Star, it can grab double turbo and boss's orders, boss up one of your Mews, and one-shot it while accelerating energy into play. So against Arceus, you really want Oricorio, but that's where the math matters the most, and all of a sudden they just moved the entire screen way too far off to the side. I don't know why they did that. Okay. Anywho's, we are going to be discarding some cards and drawing some cards. Surprisingly, in my testing, the Mew deck can draw a whole lot less cards and has a lot harder time setting up because of the loss of Quick Ball. So sometimes you do get these 6 Pokemon starts, and even if you do, sometimes you just don't have enough cards in hand that discard cards in order to draw into the cards that you do need. So I'm a little surprised that Mew VMAX has been doing so well in this tournament. But it does hit really hard, and I think it does have a really good Gardevoir matchup, so Miraidon as well. I think it has a really good Miraidon matchup. So, I mean, as long as you hit enough of those. So we are going to see the Path to the Peak as well. You think that that doesn't make any sense to be playing in a Mew VMAX deck, and you are correct. However, that is the way that you play it anyway. You shut off your own abilities while shutting off your opponent's abilities, and you just play like 4 Lost Vacuum these days to get rid of your Path to the Peak, so you can draw on your turn, and then just at the end of your turn, before you attack, just replace your Path to the Peak again anyway. Looks like we get the Arceus V-Star, and we are going to use Squovet to shuffle our hand in and draw 1 and then pass. He didn't even... Oh, he didn't Starbirth because Path to the Peak is in play. So, because of that Path to the Peak, Ian is pretty much off to the races here. Even gets double Feather Ball, is able to search his deck for 2 Pokemon with a 0 retreat cost, which are Mew and Mew VMAX. So, they're going to get 2 Mew VMAX right out of the deck. And yeah, that's a perfect setup. A little unfortunate that it's not something like Ultra Ball to be able to discard some cards out of your hand and draw some more with it, but you have the Path to the Peak in play anyway, so abilities don't really matter for you right now. You already have the Double Turbo on the Genesect. You even have the Boss's Orders. Oh man, he's really going in here. Gets the Boss's Orders on the Mewtwo, on the Arceus V-Star. Lost Vacuums his own Path to the Peak. Reveals 1 card out of his deck, which should be a DPL, but they excuse that. And just goes in drawing 6 cards. So he's going to be wanting to look for maybe Choice Belt and a couple Power Tablets. Let's see. So you're doing 190 after the Double Turbo, right? You start at 210 with Techno Blast. You use Cross Fusion Strike to copy one of your Fusion Strike Pokemon's attacks. So you copy Genesect's Techno Blast. Does 210. Minus 20 for the Double Turbo is 190. Plus 30 for 1 damage modifier is 220. Plus another one is 250. Plus another one is 280. So you need either 3 Power Tablets or 2 Power Tablets and a Choice Belt. We are going to be using... Oh, wow. You even have Pokemon Catcher in that. That is a very old way to play Mew VMAX. Is playing Pokemon Catcher in it. You used to play like 2 Boss's Orders, 3 Catcher, or 4 Catcher sometimes, to try to maximize your outs to the ways that you can get your guys going. Looks like we do get the Choice Belt. We do need to find... We've used 2 Genesects already. So off of this last one, we're going to need to find the 2 Power Tablets. And it looks like it's ahead, so we are going to be able to dig for 1 here that was on the bottom of the deck. So now we can play that. And then play out, looks like there's an Ultra Ball, so now we can have a hand of 0 cards just fail that Ultra Ball. And now we can use the final Genesect V to draw until we have 6 cards in our hand, and we just have to hope that we hit 1 more Power Tablet. And if we do, we basically win the game because our opponent's only Arceus is now gone. And they will not be able to charge any energy next turn unless they get a regular Arceus V, and then you can just attack yet again with another Mew VMAX. Looks like we may have whiffed it, but we have yet another Cram. Oh, it's Tails though, so we're not able to search that out. But we're still going to have to go in with the attack. We are going to miss it by 30 damage. We're going to hit for 250 here. And we didn't even get another Path to the Peak. So that is going to be pretty punishing for the Mewtwo V-Star deck. Because now the... I don't know why they're disagreeing on the damage number. Oh, he has V-Guard as well. Yeah, so he needed 2 more Power Tablets. We, both me and the Mew player forgot about the V-Guard. I'm not used to seeing the secret rare one there. So the art's a little different. My eye didn't catch it. But yep, he did have the V-Guard, so he was only doing 220. Or it looks like 200? Yeah, he should have done 220. That should be a 4, not a 2 on there. Oh, there's the Gardevoir as well. I completely forgot about the Gardevoir. My lord. Oh, yeah, he was digging really hard for that knockout, and he basically had no chance to do that. I would not have gone for that. You know, now that I'm seeing everything that's in play, okay. I would not have gone for that for the one-shot potential, because you would have needed like all of your power tablets basically to get through the V-Guard and the Radiant Gardevoir. I would have just left the Path to the Peak in play before, hard retreated my Genesect into the Mew, held the Vacuum for the next turn, and just gone for the safe 2-shot and not had to burn so many resources. So that was a huge misplay on Ian's side. Now we are able to get the energy acceleration with the Arceus V-Star here. We get a Giratina V with a Psychic Energy onto our bench, as well as another Arceus V. So we are going to be able to put looks like we're going to do a Grass on the Arceus V, and then maybe a Grass and Psychic onto the Giratina V-Star. We're just checking our counts on the energies that are in our deck. Looks like we're actually opting to go with the next Arceus. A little surprising. Well, I guess not so, because then your energy is spread out. It makes the Arceus V on the bench a little bit more of a target, plus you can always finish off this Mew VMAX with your with the Arceus V if you can evolve it on the next turn. But the Arceus player actually ends up playing Path to the Peak as well. So we use a couple trekking shoes to dig through our deck here a little bit. We do have a Pokemon catcher, but we cannot attack this turn unless we get another double turbo energy. And we did Lost Zone 1 for that Lost Vacuum. So yeah, Ian getting super punished for not realizing there was a V-Guard and a Radiant Gardevoir. So we are just going to retreat into the Oricorio to, I guess, let it die. I think that is the best option here, since you don't have another double turbo. You can't attack and take that knockout. You have to let the Oricorio go down. And of course, the opponent just has a boss's orders, is able to take that 3-prize knockout. And yeah, because of that huge misplay by Ian, he is now losing handedly. This Arceus is going pretty ham here. Funny that they do not have the Bibarel, but they have the Squovet. They're going to take a Bidoof off the prize cards, though, so that maybe they can set that up. If they can maybe penny the Luminion V back into the hand, they could bench the Bidoof. They should be playing penny, I would hope, to be able to do that. And that knockout is finally taken with that. With the next Mew VMAX, we did get the double turbo this time. We also had the choice belt for good measure. But now our opponent just needs to, you know, Fabio here, just needs to be able to, like, find Drapion if he's playing that and get rid of his own path in order to take a one-shot. Or you could just hit in with the Arceus V and then on the next turn evolve into the Giratina V-Star and then take that final knockout. Ian doesn't have any Mew Vs in play, so it can't use Psychic Leap on this next turn. Especially since he would also need a switching card to be able to do that as well. Looks like we are going to go for the Retreat and a Raihan. A little bit surprising of a way to do this, but I think that's fine. You know that your opponent is already down one power tablet. No, because they still have potentially 3 power tablets left. They could just rip through this Giratina V-Star if they have a switch card and all 3 of those tablets. So I guess you're just hoping your opponent doesn't have another Lost Vacuum. You saw that they're playing Lost City, so you can assume that they don't have the maximum for Lost Vacuums in deck, I suppose. So I think the way to play Mew right now is to have quad Path to the Peak, quad Lost Vacuum. But just hits for 280 with the Giratina. I guess even if the Giratina does manage to go down this turn, the Mew will still be stuck, and you can always just slap down a double turbo and win the game that way by attacking with the regular Arceus. So yeah, I guess it's fine to do it that way too. It's probably safer to do that, because then you get the bigger damage down first. So yeah, definitely the correct play from Fabio here. Looks like we are going to retreat, because we did attack last turn. We can't attack this turn. And just pass, putting up the Genesect. We will not be able to get one shot unless we get another energy down onto the Giratina. And it looks like we are going to research and miss energy. That's a little surprising, honestly. You'd think that there would be enough energy left in deck, but I guess there was enough. Oh, and we get the double turbo. I didn't even see the double turbo in hand. We did get that. We attached that, and we are able to use the loss impact for only 260 this time because of the double turbo. And we have to loss zone 2 energies attached, which is 1 card in the double turbo. So as long as this Mew does not knock out this Giratina this turn, you're 1 energy attach away from winning. If it does get knocked out, we just need to see another double turbo for the Arceus V in order to win. And it looks like Ian does scoop here. He's like, I've lost. And yeah, I think it really came down to Ian's second turn when he tried to one-shot the Arceus V star to just automatically win, but he would have needed too many resources. The Arceus... So the Arceus with the minus 50 damage it was taking effectively has 330 HP. And Mew at most can hit 340. So if you miss, so you have to go all 4 power tablets and choice belt in order to take that knockout. Or you would have had to play Path to the Peak. I think that would have been enough. It's a lot of math. So if you do 2, 20, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. No, even if you had the Path to the Peak, you'd still be 10 short, I think. Whatever. I don't have a calculator in front of me. And I don't want to do mental math anymore. So it looks like Arceus and Mew both have mulligans. So they're both going to shuffle in. Neither player is going to be drawing an extra card here since they both mulliganed. Yeah, it's one of the interesting aspects of Pokemon is you don't have an intentional mulligan, you have unintentional mulligans, and only if you don't have a basic Pokemon. So if you, for example, with the Arceus deck, if you have only Luminion in hand, you have to start that. And you don't want to start that under any circumstances, really. Especially since he's not playing any water energy, there's no way to attack with it to shuffle it back into the deck. I mean, of course, if he's playing Penny, maybe it's not the worst case scenario, but that's a turn that you could have been playing Research to set up, you know? Looks like another mulligan from Arceus, so this time the Mew will be able to draw an additional card. Yeah, in other games where they have mulligan rules, usually it's because you have a bad hand, so in Magic you can shuffle back in and draw a new hand of 1 less card as your punishment for doing a mulligan. And then in some other games, you can just shuffle your hand in and redraw the same amount. And you can choose to do that once and that's it. And I think in Magic you can mulligan infinite times, essentially, until you have, like, no cards. Like, you could redraw a hand of 1 if you mulligan enough times. I believe that's how it works. But in Pokemon, the way it punishes you is by having your opponent draw an extra card. There's no downsizing your own hand, because that would limit your outs to a basic Pokemon. We go immediate Trekking Shoes, seeing Roxanne being like, well, this is turn 1, I can't use it, so might as well discard it, and gets the Battle VIP Pass off of that. Never punished. Plays that Battle VIP Pass for 2 Pokemon. Looks like maybe we have a Cram. Is that what we're eyeing up? Yeah, we have an Ultra Ball and a Cram. So I'd say Ultra Ball away. I mean, you could Ultra Ball away the Cram, right? You also have Lost Vacuum. I think I would rather just Ultra Ball away 2 cards and then Cram for... And then try to cram, maybe cram away the Lost Vacuum. But that's a little bit risky because you also have the Path to the Peak. So you could have discarded your own path, but you want to put that in play. And of course, as I said, The only thing you don't really want to start is the Luminion. Of course, the Arceus deck starts the Luminion. So that's going to give Mew a huge advantage here. Because Mew is going first on its second turn, it will be able to attack. So Fabio is going to have to find a way to move this this turn. So we are going to Nest Ball. That can get us that Arceus that we need. We would love to see a double turbo to be able to attack with it. If we get the Penny, then we could move the Luminion out of the active spot. But we'd also have to have a Pokemon to charge up with the Arceus. So we'd want to see something like a Giratina or another Arceus. We do have the Bidoof here, so at least that's something. We have the V-Star in hand as well. I kind of like that Ian held off on using the Path to the Peak this turn, because you know your opponent isn't going to get their V-Star and they already have a Luminion in the active, so what are the odds that they're going to even want to put another Luminion on the bench? And that's the only thing you'd really be stopping this turn. Looks like Fabio is going to let the Luminion die. I think that is the correct choice. It's not really something that you want to have happen, but you kind of have to have it happen. Because either you're letting the Luminion die or you're retreating it into the Bidoof and then are not going to be able to attack with the V-Star next turn. Unless you get Raihan specifically, so. It looks like we see a Boss's Orders is going to bring up that Arceus V with the 1 energy on it. And you can see why Mew is still so powerful. Why it still hits so hard. Because it can just go fast. It's like Sonic speed. It's running around at the speed of sound. Somebody like, I don't know. If this was a live stream, I'd be like, clip that and then put the Sonic Frontiers music to it. That would be a good TikTok. I'm not going to do that though. So we're going to Genesect a second time. Going to draw some more cards. We get the Forest Seal Stone. This is turn 2, so we can't, like, use it to get a Battle VIP pass. I mean, you could, but that would just be bad. Go to Genesect for 1 more card. That's another Forest Seal Stone. Fantastic. Looks like we are going to use that. We do need the double turbo here, otherwise we cannot attack. We already have more than enough damage. We only need to be doing 220. There's no Gardevoir. There's no V-Guard energy in play this time. So we are going to... Oh god, they're still doing the V-Star in the background. I forgot about that. We already have the Choice Belt and the Power Tablet. We only needed one of those two in order to take the knockout, but we have both, so we're doing a little bit of overkill there. And looks like Fabio's got the setup. He's got Nest Ball and Bibarel here, so he's going to be able to Nest Ball for some sort of attacker to power up with the Arceus. And if he draws into, say, Raihan off of this Bibarel, he's really going to be able to do a lot this turn. Because you want to be able to go for Trinity Nova instead of Trinity Charge if you can. I don't think we got there. I don't think there's actually any supporters in hand. We get the V-Star for the Giratina. We get Research, so we're going to have to discard Giratina and 2 energy, which is not what you want to see. There is always the potential that Arceus could be playing maybe Energy Recycler to put those back in, to charge up these Pokemon a little bit easier in future turns, but I don't think he drew what he wanted off of this Research either. He's got an Ultra Ball. There's no Path to the Peak in play. Ian decided not to put it in play for some reason, even though he had it in hand. And that's going to allow this Arceus to use its V-Star power, but he already used a supporter this turn, so he can't Raihan. So he's going to have to make a decision here on what he wants to do. I would say maybe get... I mean, if... What I would want to do is, like, switch and get an Arceus V and a double turbo, but that's 3 cards. Because then you could still Trinity Charge this turn. If you were to escape rope instead of switch, your opponent just switches into the Mew V, and then they don't have to dig for any additional cards to get another knockout. Looks like we get the... Yep, we're just gonna try to attach over the course of 2 turns to attack and just pass there. So we're already down 2 prize cards. The Pokemon catcher does flip tails, thankfully, because that would have brought up a easy knockout on... Oh! Okay. Hits 1 on both of those Pokemon catchers. So there is no threat to knock out the Giratinas right now, or even the Luminion. I mean, if I'm Ian, if one of those catchers hit heads, do I even bother trying to go for a Giratina? I mean, I guess so, because you only need 1 power tablet to take the knockout. You have Choice Belt on both of your Pokemon. You do need that additional modifier because of the Gardevoir. So we are going to Pal Pad some stuff back in. And now what? We got another Forest Seal Stone. I'm surprised he hasn't just, like, put that down on something so that he can draw an additional card. Yeah, he could have just put that down on a Genesect and he'd have been able to draw an extra card. I'm not sure why he's not doing that. I guess he's saving it there for that Ultra Ball, but... I don't know. I think I would have rather drawn that 1 extra card. We are going to Ultra Ball for the Oricorio. So that Mew, if we don't have the Mew VMAX there to protect it from being knocked out, we now have the Oricorio to protect it from being knocked out from a Trinity Nova. But we are also going to be able to use, it looks like, our first Genesect for the turn. It looks like, I thought he already used one, but... We're going to have to see if we draw enough damage modifiers to be able to take the knockout. Remember that Gardevoir is live. Oh, we have double power tablet, so we have 4 modifiers. That's 120. Yeah, that should be enough. Yep, so he's going to slap that down. Yeah, because he's 4 damage modifiers is an additional 120. Yep, he retreats, switch carts. He has everything. So additional 120 plus the 190 you're normally doing is over 300. So that is, yeah, that's enough for knockout, 310. Yeah, it just goes with that. And then Fabio's like, I'm already down 4 prize cards. I'm just going to scoop it up, go to the next game. And yeah, that's why, like, a lot of the times Arceus decks always struggled to contest with Mew VMAX. Even when it was really the big Arceus format. When Arceus first came out in Brilliant Stars and everybody was playing it, a lot of people had to pair a ton of dark attackers with it to even hope to try to counter Mew VMAX. Mew is just too powerful of an option still that Arceus just could not contend with it. We are going to go into Game 3. We have 22 minutes left. So that should be enough for somebody to win this game. Games usually last around 25 minutes on average, in my opinion, so even with only 22 minutes here, if you get a +3 turns, that should be enough. Can't tell you how many times I've won on turn 3. And neither of these players are, like, playing slow either. They definitely know exactly what they're going for every turn. They're not taking too long on decisions, which is always what you like to see, especially in this situation. Both of these players are 5-0-1. Round 7 is the first round where Pokemon starts putting people who are on a winning in to day 2 on stream. So whoever ends up winning this match is guaranteed to go on to day 2. As soon as you have 6 wins and 1 tie or better, you have enough match points to get into day 2. You could also be 5 wins and 4 ties is an equivalent match point record. Funnily enough, so you can get into day 2 that way as well. I've done that before as well. I brought a really bad deck to a tournament and still managed to make day 2 with it. And that's how I did it. Because I just tied a bunch of Zoroark mirrors. Is that what I did? I tied 1 Zoroark mirror. It was Zoroark Garb. It was in the Buzz Shrine format. Buzz Weavile Garb Shrine format. It was really good against that deck, but not too great against anything else. hit like 4 Gardevoir decks over the course of that tournament, and I went like 2-0-2 against them or something. Oh, oh no. Arceus just passes. Just capturing Aroma, pass. He flipped the heads there, so he got the V-Star for next turn, but he doesn't have another attacker to bench or even a Bidoof for anything. Even a Squovet, nothing. Nada. Of course, since Ian is not playing Elisa Sparkle and Fusion Strike Energy, there's no risk that you're going to be knocked out on Ian's first turn here. So at least you got that going for you, but you have no energy on your Arceus. You're not going to be able to use the V-Star. So you're going to have to, like, top deck a double turbo and a basic Pokemon somehow? I don't know. You're going to have to, like, draw a Judge and then draw really hot off your Judge, I guess. Yeah, and that's why capturing Aroma sucks. That's why Great Ball is better. Because off the top 7, you could have probably found a basic Pokemon and not had to worry about the coin flip. That's why I have not really been playing too much with Lugia yet, even though it feels like the best deck in the format. Just because I don't feel like super comfortable with playing Capturing Aroma. And Great Ball just doesn't feel good enough. It feels way better than Capturing Aroma, but just still not good enough. We are going to... So we Ultra Ball for a Mew. We are going to Trekking Shoes. Keep the card. It is another Mew. So that is good. It looks like there is an Ultra Ball. So we are going to do that. Unfortunately, has to discard a Mew VMAX along with a double turbo. But you should still have enough left of those cards in deck to be able to afford discarding those. That's definitely not the ideal discard. But if you're still trying to get set up turn 1, you got to go for that. You would have only had 3 Pokemon in play. Otherwise, you could have attached the double turbo and drawn 1. I guess maybe I would have done that, but then you're down 1 Genesect. It's weird. It's a really weird situation. Because if off that 1 you draw another Mew VMAX, then you really do have to Ultra Ball, and then you just, like, lose. I guess you could pass in that situation. And just not set up. But then you have a bunch of dead Battle VIP passes in deck. You're gonna flip tails on Cram as well. That's the one reason why I haven't been liking playing Mew. Is just you flip tails on Cram. Otherwise, Mew is probably my favorite deck. Since coming back like a year ago. It's just so super consistent. It doesn't take too much to get going. But the Cram flips just are really punishing sometimes. You're just short that 1 card in order to basically guarantee the win or a knockout. And you just flip your Cram and its tails, and then you're punished. So we do get our 4th Genesect into play. We're going to be able to use our 3rd one's ability. So that Ultra Ball did end up paying off quite a good amount here. We're going to have choosing whether to Cram or to use the Trekking Shoes instead. And it looks like we get the Forest Seal Stone that way. So that's great. I wouldn't use it yet. I would just hold off until next turn. And we're going to go for it this turn. Okay. Oh, we're going to go for the Judge. I don't know how I feel about that. Your opponent didn't detach an energy and had a dead hand. I don't know if I would have wanted to Judge there. Like, yeah, your opponent had, what, like a 7-card hand? 6-card hand? Now you're giving them potentially a better one? Yeah, so they get another dead hand, but they have double turbo Judge themselves. So now they just need to draw like a basic Pokemon, like another Arceus V, off of their Judge. And now they can actually play the game. So yeah, I don't like the Judge from the Mew player there. I think I would have held off on that. Kept my V-Star power. Because you don't need anything else this turn. Now you're burning power tablets with Cram. Yeah, I don't like this play at all. Because you need those power tablets for taking the knockouts on the V-Star Pokemon. Because you need double power tablet and choice belt. And if you want to go through 2 V-Stars, you need all of that. And I don't think I've seen a Silene from this player yet. I mean, if they are playing Silene, number one, how did they fit it in there? Because they have all these catchers. But yeah, and there are another 2 power tablets in hand, it looks like. I guess they were really digging for the path to the peak, but again, if your opponent had a dead hand with no energy in it, why would you just judge that? And he even top decks the Giratina V. Oh, but I guess even evolves? What does the evolve do for you? I guess you... Oh, I guess since you're judging and your opponent pathed themselves, you're limiting their options to be able to retreat and take the knockout. So yeah, I do like that. That's not the play I would have thought of going for, but I think I would have Trinity charged instead. But at least now, as long as you have another energy next turn, you won't be punished for that. But I feel like you could have Trinity charged, put an energy on yourself, and then 2 on the bench. Or just 3 on the bench, and been in the same position. We're going to boss's orders with the Mew, and we are going for a Brick Fest here. After using the Lost Vacuum to get rid of our own path to the peak so that we can actually draw and play the game. But that boss's orders having to be played first is, again, pretty punishing because now you can't use your own judge to reset your hand and use more Genesects, really. And we're just going to burn some power tablets. There's the choice belt that you got by burning the power tablet. Oh, that feels bad. Yeah, he's really digging for a way to retreat this Genesect, and if he doesn't get it this turn, he's kind of boned. Yep, just paths again and passes. So yeah, Fabio's still not in the worst position. It's not great because he does have the Giratina active, but this deck should be playing some switching cards. I would assume at least a switch and an escape rope, maybe more than that. So we're going to Nest Ball. What do we want to go with? You could always go for Squovet and hope you draw a really powerful 1 card. Oh, he's going to go for the Judge again. That'll be really funny. Yep, go for a Choice Belt as well. Why not? I would have Choice Belted the Arceus, because then the Arceus would be able to one-shot a Genesect. I don't think that the... Well, I guess the Choice Belt on the Giratina allows you to one-shot a Mew with its attack. But if you got the switch and the energy, you could one-shot the Genesect, and that would have felt a lot better. So I guess it depends on how exactly your deck list is laid out, if you think you can get there or not. Maybe if you're not playing switching cards, then I definitely would have gone for the Choice Belt on the Giratina. But, I mean, it ends up working out for him because he did not get what he needed. Didn't even get an energy to attach. Again, just judging himself into bad hands left and right here. We do get the double turbo now for Mew, so now Mew is going to be able to, you know, play the game. We have another double turbo in hand as well, so even using that one wasn't super punishing. But the one that's in hand is the last one, I believe, because he did, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did discard one with that Ultra Ball earlier in the game. So Ian's down to 2 double turbos left. Fabio can actually just, like, judge a Genesect twice and win the game that way. Well, no, because Mew plays a bunch of switch cards. He could potentially boss a Genesect if Ian misses a switch card, have to retreat again into the Mew, and then just knock out that one Mew. But at least this, at least this Giratina is forcing another double turbo out of Ian. So that is the last double turbo. He will just be able to take an easy knockout here. And Fabio is behind 2 prize cards now. So yeah, if we saw... Yeah, if the path wasn't in play and we saw the choice belt to the Arceus, I would have loved to see the boss Genesect knockout, charging up the Giratina. We are just like that, slightly behind. But the way the math works out here is we're going to go for another Nest Ball here. But we can do 180 to the active Mew. The Mew is forced to retreat into the other Mew. And then you are able to one-shot the clean Mew with no damage counters on it with the Giratina V-Star. And then all that Ian has left is a damaged Mew, and you could win the game off of 3 attacks that way, so that's not bad. Looks like we have the Squovet Bibarel combination going this game, so we are able to shuffle our hand onto the bottom of the deck, draw a card, and then draw a fresh hand with Bibarel. The ultimate consistency duo of the rodents. And we are fully charging up this Giratina V. So, Ian... he's already burned a boss's orders. He's been flipping like exclusively tails on Pokemon catchers all match. Is he going to have a way to out his own path to the peak, bring up the Giratina V, knock it out, and then re-path? Because I don't know how that's going to go. But the V-Guard energy is also helping this Arceus V-Star here live another day. So I don't think there's any way that Ian will be able to take that knockout because he's had to burn so many power tablets in this game already. We're going to Pow Pad back in a Judge. We are going to cram, probably looking for that Judge or the Lost Vacuum, one of the two. Oh, we have the Lost Vacuum. So I think we're going to go for the boss. Yep, looks like we are bossing here. So we're going to go for the knockout on the Giratina V. Yeah, this is just a very classic Arceus versus Mew showdown where Mew just happens to barely get what they need every single turn, and the Arceus just bricks the first couple of turns because it just didn't get a chance to set up. It missed the energy attach. Like, that's what happens. If Arceus misses the turn 1 energy attach, it just usually loses. And it couldn't even Raihan because this Pokemon wasn't knocked out. Oh, they stopped the... I'm like, why is the Judge Call happening? So, the Gardevoir reduces damage that the Giratina V takes by 20. But that does not matter because Path to the Peak is shutting off all of the Rule Box Pokemon's abilities. So the Gardevoir does not actually work. And just by having the Choice Belt there, that is enough to take the knockout on the Giratina V. But almost a good catch by the Judge there. So nest balling for another Arceus. I guess we don't have the resources to go for another Giratina. Yeah, that boss play was super punishing. If that was a Tails on the Cram instead, that would have been really good. We are using the Squovet to draw 1 card and then the Bibarel to draw 4. So we have a brand new fresh hand. We do get, looks like Lost City. Is that what that is? That's got to be Lost City. So you can replace the path and then be able to Starbirth to search for any 2 cards you need. But at this point, I don't really think that there's anything that you can get. Also going to Nest Ball and fail it. So yeah, must not be any Giratinas left in the deck, and even if there are, doesn't want to even attempt charging one up. Oh yeah, because he is down a lot of energy. He did research 2 away really early, right? Or was that the last game? I don't even remember. Yeah, Fabio has taken 0 prize cards so far. He's damaged 2 of Ian's Mew VMAX, but Ian is only 1... like boss's orders basically away from being able to take the game. So Fabio's gonna have to win off of the back of these 2 Arceus Vs. So it's gonna come down to if Ian can get the boss or Pokemon catcher this turn. Flips Tails on Cram. So even if he flipped heads and had to go for Pokemon Catcher, he'd still have to flip again. Has no way to remove his path to the peak right now, it looks like. So they're going to go for an escape rope. That's going to force Bidoof up potentially. I think Fabio's trying to think about how many energies he has left in deck to see if he can even retreat this Bidoof or not. Also, this is the new Bidoof from Crown Zenith. It's the better Bidoof because it has essentially Bench Barrier on itself. Shell Shield Squirtle, if you guys remember that black and white format. It protects itself from damage on the bench. And it looks like Ian is going for the Judge now. So hopefully he can draw what he needs off of this. It looks like he's just going to go for the knockout on the Bidoof. So he's taking one prize. So he is still yet another one boss's orders away from winning the game. So if he can't get to that, then Fabio could actually win. He could knock out this Mew VMAX on this turn and then knock out the other Mew VMAX on the next turn and win the game. So looks like Fabio is going to shuffle 2 judges back into deck. Really wants to make sure that Ian has the least amount of odds as possible as getting to these Pokemon catchers and boss's orders as possible. Fabio does have a boss of his own, is going to put that on the bottom of the deck with the Squovet. Draw 1 card and then use the Bibarel to draw 4 more. And that is a super dead hand. He's not used a supporter, so he can just research away all those dead cards, which happens to be 3 research and 2 Pokemon. And, well, I mean, that's where you want him at this point in the game. You would have loved to see those earlier in the game when you were just, you know, judging and bricking. But, I mean, here they are. And he's going to go for the knockout. He does have the one with the V-Guard energy active. He's going to look through his deck, and he's going to attach 1 more energy, potentially. I think he's going to try to fail that because he wants to be able to have a pivot. But, no, he's going to attach it to the active. Yeah, it's a little questionable on whether or not I would have attached that or not. Depends on if there's any other switch cards in deck or hand. I know there was an escape rope in his prize card still. So we'll have to see. Does Ian get to the boss's orders or catcher heads this turn? Looks like we are searching our deck for a Mew. So that must have been an Ultra Ball. I can't really see because it's the discard's off screen. I think he discarded 2 Battle VIP passes for an Ultra Ball, it looks like. And he cannot attack with his active Mew, so he's going to pass. And boss. And Fabio ends up winning the game. Oh, that's really good for Fabio there. That's awesome. Yeah, that was a rough game to watch because they both kept whiffing like every turn. As always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. It feeds that YouTube algorithm and allows me to make more awesome videos like this and continue to put out more stuff. And yeah, Fabio seems pretty excited. He's in day 2 now. He's guaranteed. So we will see you guys next time.